So one of the most frequently asked questions I get on my channel, Instagram, and other Instagrams is, how can I get a service dog? Now, there's really only one correct answer to kind of all of it, which would be, one, you have to be disabled. A lot of times I am out and people will be like, oh, where'd you get that vest? My son has autism. Autism, you can't have a service dog. But you cannot have just a regular pet in a vest. You have to have a trained service dog. I'll probably mess this up because this is just off the top of my head. But a service dog is an individually trained service dog that is that performs tasks to mitigate disability, which basically means assist or lesser the effects of a disability. They can only be for one person, but in some cases, people have other family who also use a service dog. Like, let's say a mother has, I don't know, like panic disorder, and her son has a meltdown, and the dog responds to the son, like things like that. But in the short answer is only for one person. You can, but you really can't just go out and get a dog and train it. If you have a disability, I mean, you can, but the way I went, and I know the way others go, is they go to their doctors first. They either bring up a service dog to their primary care, their psychiatrist, their specialist, whoever, because disabled people, we often have a lot of doctors. So they will either bring it up, or you will bring it up to them, like, hey, is this a good treatment option for me? In my case, I was just really mentally unstable for a very long time after I started high school. I mean, I was before, but not this serious. Like, I was hospitalized once for, like, a day program, so I'd get to go home, but I'd have to stay there the whole day. I also have a video for talking about that. It's the, Mental Awareness Month. But in my case, I was severely depressed. I was just getting worse and worse. It was affecting my school. I'd stay at home. I almost became a fifth-year senior, which means I'd have to do another grade because I'd missed so much school. So I started looking up. I followed people like Paws and Love, Service Dog Piercy, I think that's what it is. Visual Moss, and things like those. So I already knew what service dogs were. I've seen service dogs in public. I didn't exactly know a lot about them. So I kid you not, I got a notebook. I recommend this. Get a notebook or write a note on your, this thing, and put down websites, articles, anything. Like, inform yourself so much on service dogs that you basically know the ADA on the back of your hand. So for me, my doctor was like, you know what, this sounds like a good option. So he gave me a paper that says, so-and-so, to whoever it concerns, so-and-so has a service dog for blah, 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 for all my mental health stuff, and is required or something, like in need of a service dog, and has approval by her doctor to have a service dog. Now, this isn't like something I flash around everywhere. This is only for me and me only. Except for, sometimes, I'm not sure if they can allow this, but, if you are in a hospital, like, you have to get, admitted. I don't know, I haven't been admitted with Zeke yet, thank God. I'm not sure about that, but, schools are kind of confusing. For, school, I did need to provide that information, like any other disabled person who goes to school. You often have to, provide medical, documents for accommodations, and so Zeke was a part of accommodations. So he was added to my accommodations along with that copy of paperwork faxed to the school from my doctor's office. So far we have 1, you must be disabled, as in, like, you can't do things on your own. Like, everyday life is a struggle, whether you're handicapped physically or you're handicapped mentally. And I know a lot of people really don't understand the big effects of mental health. Mental health can be so bad, it debilitates you physically. In my case, it does. Sometimes. It depends on how severe. And I know for other people, it can. The ADA equals both physical and mental disabilities equally. Someone in a wheelchair can have a service dog. Someone with severe anxiety, severe autism, severe ADHD, pretty much almost all strands of mental health or physical disabilities, as long as they're debilitating, meaning you cannot get out of the house sometimes. You can't do things on your own. So we got disability, doctor's permission, or doctor's request or doctor's approval, and information. Obviously, if you are underage, you have to talk to your parents. This, honestly, it might seem like the scariest thing in your life, but once you get it out there, once you show all the work you've done on your own, they will most likely say yes. Now, I'm not saying for sure they will say 100% yes, but most of the time, if you're a minor, your doctor's visits are with your parents. I know legally you can say no. So if you do say no to your parents being in your doctor's visits, just fill them in on, like, what you and your doctor talked about, or all the information you've been gathering up about service dogs. Now, step 1 of the real process is finding a dog. Now, some people will find their own dogs and send them to programs, or most of the time programs will give you their dogs that they breed on their own or get from a reputable breeder. Now, things to avoid would be backyard breeders, pet stores like Petland, anywhere where the dog's health could be a risk because of where they are bred. Most of the time, for service dogs, if you are doing all this process on your own, as far as owner training like I did, your biggest concern you want to look for is how reputable they are. Are they a good breeder? Do they have good reviews? Is this an actual real place? And if the biggest number 1 no-no is if the breeder just doesn't want to talk to you. In my case, there was one breeder that was like, kind of sketchy. But then we found Zeke's breeder. I can't remember if she said it was okay to say her name, but if you do, comment me, or I'll find a way to contact you if you do want to know, but for now I'm probably not going to say her name, or I might accidentally. We found the breeder, and she was very nice. She's the sweetest person I've ever met, like, for Rizzle. We are still in touch today. She's like Zeke's, godmother. So she was automatically very talkative, asking questions. We were asking questions. She was giving us questions. She wasn't avoiding anything. She was very good. So you want to look at, like, most of the time, if you get American Kennel Club, approved, they're going to be more pricey. But this is good because you know that your dog's going to be on top-notch health. And if they're not, most likely the breeders will offer refunds, or they will give you a new puppy. I mean, I'm not sure about all breeders, but most breeders will. Being an American Kennel Club breeder, that means your dogs that you are breeding have been scanned, tested for a ton of things that may be passed on to puppies, so they know that the puppies are in the best condition. Another thing that's really good is if they already have a history if you're looking at a mom, like a parents, if the parents all, or if there is at least one parent that has a puppy that they delivered that was, became a service dog, a therapy dog, or any, like, good personality. In Zeke's case, the mom, she has had, several therapy dogs, come out of her litters, and, 2 ESAs. So that was really good. We knew that this litter would have good personality. If you look online, like I said about, like, finding information and websites, if you are looking for your own puppy, do some research about types of tests that you will need to do for your puppy. Most breeders will not allow you to meet the puppies before 8 weeks due to contamination and possibly getting germs into the puppy system that it cannot fight off. So most of the time you will have to talk to the breeder, correspond with the breeder to have them do it. Like, that's how we had to do it. I showed her videos and websites of things that were, things to look for in a prospect for a service dog. So now we got, let's say, woohoo, you got a dog. Training. So you either train yourself, you could do a board and train for, like, obedience. So I trained almost everything for Zeke. I mean, technically I did train everything for Zeke. Zeke just went through a very stubborn phase at around 6 months. He does enjoy working. He's just a little stubborn a-hole. So he would not heel. Like, he would heel, but I'd have to kind of force him to heel. But he would stay in one spot. Like, it's hard to... He just wasn't on me. And with the service dog, they have to pay attention. So Zeke went to a board and train. And he was trained in obedience, heeling, off-leash, a ton of things. Zeke already knew all his tasks. Well, most of them. For a 6-month-old puppy. He was already doing public access before that. Potty trained, like, just basic dog obedience you want to get down. But in order for it to have public access, you do need to teach them tasks. I'm not sure if I have a video on tasks, but again, tasks are things that the dog knows how to do to lesser or stop the effects of a disability. For example, Zeke will alert to previous panic attacks, and recently he's also been starting to pick up on heart rate alerts, meaning I can sit down before I feel dizzy, or however I'm feeling in the instance. So, once your dog's trained, you have a service dog. There will be some bumpy roads, but a lot of people are like, oh my god, I get public access problems everywhere. I swear, all those videos on YouTube about public access are not bad. Like, not every public access trip you have is going to be the rotten apple. There is very few rotten apples on an apple tree. I've only had one instance, and it wasn't really bad. I was just like, okay, then call the cops, and the cops will tell you, hey, I have rights as anyone else. And if you do go through something like that, I am dearly sorry, and I hope you never have to experience it again, because those things are triggering. But it's very, very, very not likely that you will go through that situation more than multiple times. Maybe once in a while, going to new places and stuff. But that's why we have the ADA and federal law, state laws to protect us. And that's why service dogs are so important, and that's why it's important not to get fake IDs or scam websites, registries, because those things are all fake. All you need is your doctor's approval. You don't have to share this to the public. You're legally not required to. It can actually get the business in trouble. And shoot, brain fart. Oh. Paperwork. Paperwork. You don't need paperwork. The only paperwork you need is for yourself and no one else. People don't go around showing each other social security cards. This is basically the same thing. This is your private life. This is your disabilities. This is your medical paperwork. You don't need to show them that. All you need is a well-behaved, trained, task-trained, individual service dog. And that's basically the roundup of a service dog for you. Before this video gets really long, here is, this is Zeke's documentation. I'm actually missing a few because I had to put them in a different folder for a trip. But this is normally his folder. Like, this side has vet bills. This I recommend. This is socialization checklists. For socialization, because service dogs really need to, they really need to be okay with a lot of situations. Behind here is training hours. I recommend logging training hours. In case of any legal situations or lawsuits, you most likely or will always have a good chance with training documentation. Another thing, this is where I put all of my my things for service dogs, for whatchamacallit, all my info. So I'll only show you a few, cause here, I'll show you what you mean. Alright, so like for some reason almost all the ink fell off. So basically I had benefits of a service dog, cons of a service dog, process of getting a service dog. Oh my god, I can't believe like all of this thing. How to prepare for a service dog, preparing myself, gear, basic training, alerts, basics, like here, I can't believe like all this like got ruined. So I put a checklist of all the basic things I needed to go over while Zeke was a baby. His little fetus self. Knowing my laws, I basically memorized the ADA, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I wrote it all down. See, like this, like literally all erased. I had a lot of breeds right here for breeds I was recommending, and Golden Noodle was the best. So I started in a different color or a different pen. So that's weird. I planned my schedule, all these things. Yeah, here costs. This was all costs. I had like estimated. And then after that, I started journaling for goals of day, what happened, things like that. Highly recommend. Also, I don't have, like, I can't really pull it up right now, but I'd keep, like, if you have an iPhone or Android, most of the time you have notes. Put down the ADA so you can just click it and go to the website. In case you don't have law cards, which I recommend. I don't have them on me right now, but most of you know what law cards are. They have all the ADA laws regarding service dogs. It's easier to have law cards because most of the time managers, store people, anyone, like, don't really want to hold your phone and look because they don't want to be right or they don't want to be wrong. So they won't really read and pay attention. So yes. Documentation from doctor. On your part, documenting articles, parents' permission, the process, getting a dog, and the training process. So, that's the video.